Quote of the day for today. I found that every time I asked for permission, the answer tended to be no, so I had to make my own yeses. By Issa Rae. Well, just to kind of show, I've kind of switched gears from messing with the roll cage to messing with this IRS subframe. So I have the Maximum Motorsports Delrin bushings that are going to go in place of all the mounting bushings here. So I was working on just following the instructions for it, so I'm not going to go step by step, but basically there's a couple of about 3 dimples on each side of this inner tube inside the bushing that needed smoothed out, and just use a drill bit. I ended up busting a drill bit on one of them because I just didn't have a drill bit big enough, so I just kind of stuck it in there and kind of jockeyed it up and down until they were kind of cut smooth. And then basically have 2 different size like made washers here, one that fits slightly inside here and one just on the outside. Instructed to drill a bunch of holes in the bushings, so I did that. And then you basically create a jam nut there, two nuts on the end there, jam together, and then you just run a threaded rod through, put some grease on the washers, and just start cranking it down. And it's going pretty smooth here so far. And then it says something in the directions about taking a wire wheel and getting all the remnants of the rubber bushing out of that sleeve. All right, trying to remember what I showed last, but I think I showed I was starting to press these bushings out, drilled holes in all the rubber around them, used that tool from Maximum Motorsports, got them all pushed out, all 4 of them. Then I used this tool here with the little brass wire brush thing, whatever, on the end of it here, so actually fit in there pretty nice and smooth, and just kind of worked that around and worked all the rubber and everything out of the inside of there so that I can slide the new bushings in. All right, I got the best of myself again here, guys. You know, I pulled this IRS subframe apart, and it's kind of neat because it still has, you can kind of see it there, some of the original markings. Maybe you can see it like from the factory, like quality marks or whatever. And then I thought, you know what, this paint's good enough. It's going under the car, no one will ever see it, I'm not going to paint it. Well, I got the best of myself, and I pulled the Maximum Motorsports A-arms out, and they have this nice textured flat black paint on them. And this is kind of more of a satin, some of it's a little beat up, got some dirt and grime and stuff on it. And I got the best of myself again, some scrapes and paint flaking off. So I ran to the auto parts store and I just got some rocker guard paint. So I went to the local O'Reilly's and got this stuff. It said textured finish, impact resistant, flexible chip resistant coating. So I'm guessing that's kind of rubberized. I was hoping it's more like a paint, but it says a rocker guard coating. So we'll give this a shot and see how that turns out. Maybe I'll put some paint over the top of that yet, I don't know. I'm gonna try it on a test piece first here, see how it looks, and then work on getting this IRS subframe cleaned up and ready to slap some paint on it. All right, so I got the subframe hanging here for the IRS. Pretty much hit every surface on this with steel wool and wax and grease remover, tack cloth, and gonna try to touch it up with some primer, try to hit the bare spots, maybe just spray some on to as kind of like a guide coat since it's gray, and then I'll be putting on that rocker coating stuff. So go from there. All right, thought I'd show an update on this. Probably not the best image sitting here in the sun, but I rolled it out and I noticed it looked like there was some striping on these bigger parts here. So I tried to just spray a little more of that rocker guard stuff on there. I don't know if it shows up very good in the camera here, but it is kind of textured. It's kind of like a rubberized paint, kind of. But I thought I'd give that a shot, see how this works. It looks really good. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out, other than I got like some stuff really thick in there, but Some of that stuff you're not really going to see once it's up in the car. I think it looks pretty good on the bottom here too. I know it's kind of hard to see. It's probably in the shadows here. Try to turn it around a little bit. There we go. I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I need to keep in mind it's kind of going under a race car. Or it's turning into kind of a race car project. So it's probably going to get beat up and scratched up over time again, but pretty happy with how it looks right now. Kind of a nice textured paint, similar to what the Maximum Motorsports A-arms and K-member are. So alright, so I thought I'd show this one more time without it being in the sun. I had paper towels stuffed in where each of the subframe bushings went, so I didn't get much overspray in there. I'll have to clean that up a little. The paint's a little rougher texture than what I was hoping it would be. Probably my own doing. But I think it looks pretty good, pretty happy with it. I had some overspray on these parts, and I noticed when I rub my finger on it, it kind of discolors it a little bit. So I need to just not do that. And you probably won't notice it once it's in there, but may I'll just take it outside and like hose it off with some water and make sure that it all looks okay before I start popping bushings and everything in there. But I thought I'd just show this one more time. Pretty happy with how it's looking. You kind of get the idea. This part here had a lot of overspray on it, so it looks pretty rough and cruddy, but I think on the back side here, I think it's looking pretty good yet. It actually has a pretty good feel to it here where it's didn't get much overspray or any other crap on it. So all in all, pretty happy with it. We'll see how it stands the test of time. Just this, oh, it was $20 a can, and I think I ended up using almost 2 cans on it. So still, in today's terms, it was pretty relatively cheap and, well, I'm not going to say easy because it was a lot of prep work trying to get all these tubes scuffed up and getting all the crap and old residue and grease and road grime or whatever was on it. But I'm pretty happy with the end result.